Welcome to the Fan Feels Boy podcast.
Yeah! Welcome everybody to the Fan Film Boys podcast. I'm, as usual, your host, Robert. Well, what a year 2017 has been for the Fan Film Boys. The podcast has had its ups and its downs. However, this has made us only a stronger podcast, and we're going into 2018. We're going to continue to give you the best fan film discussions, reviews, and interviews. Now, this leads me into this week's show. A few weeks ago, I had the amazing opportunity to talk with Stephen Douchette, Vedder and Joey Utah of the currently in production fan film Star Wars Venatus. Now, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, so sit back and listen as we talk about a Star Wars fan being made right here in New Jersey right now.
My name is Stephen Douchette. I am the director, head writer, actor, producer. I do a lot of things for this film. The project actually started, I would say, in October of 2015. It was just a friend of ours, Josh Hersey. We had this Star Wars featured film written from a while ago. It was kind of like in the story treatment phase at this point. And we were looking at it and we were thinking, like, wow, this is going to take a lot of resources and a lot of time to do. So we had the idea of taking a couple characters from that feature and then doing like a prelude film to that. So it's something that takes place a couple years before and explaining how they got up to this point. So initially it just started as it was just like a lightsaber duel where a couple guys just show up and get some lightsabers, and we're thinking like, oh, that would be cool. And then I had the idea of like, let's turn this into a story. And that was the beginning of the film from there. So it kind of, started. I was like, whether the Jedi characters, and this takes place during the dark times in the galaxy when the Empire is at its peak power and the Jedi are still being hunted down. And it centers on three Force-using boys. They were sort of, I would say, they were Jedi initiates, almost at the apprentice stage. They never got picked by a master to be taken on apprenticeship. And when they were about to be chosen, that's when the whole Order 66 thing happened, and then they had to escape. And, the third boy, actually, what happened was that there was a group of two boys and then a girl, and the girl ran away on his own, and she didn't know what happened to her. And then they picked up the third kid. This third kid, Tosh, and he's kind of like this, motor mouthing, like Spider-Man type of like Peter Parker. He thinks everything's like happy-go-lucky. He thinks this is all a game. But the premise in the film what's happening is that these boys are running down from first these commandos because they blew up an Imperial base and it was way too much. And then all of a sudden, as they're trying to outmaneuver them, they get caught up by the Inquisitors, who are the Imperial Jedi hunters. And what starts out as like a routine, just kind of like hit and run attack against the Empire, ends up into this crazy situation where all their lives change for the better or for worse at the end of the film.
Very cool, very cool. I mean, that sounds like it's going to be an awesome film.
Thank you.
So, Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself and what's your involvement in the film.
Well, I am among a few things. I helped with the script in the later stages, as well as I'm currently director of photography and going to be heading up the editing stage as we're wrapping up the film. My involvement came, I guess, how did I kind of get involved in this in the first place? Steve and I were taking class, we were actually in voice class together, and both involved in TV and film production.
Yes.
I actually come a bit from the comedy world, so this was a really fun opportunity for me, at least, to get into something a little bit more dramatic, because I've done a lot more like sketch comedy. Yeah, so it was a fun stretch for me, and I actually went back to school for all the sort of video editing and production and stuff, and I love to get my hands dirty on all, sorts of different projects, whether it be I've done music videos in the past, which was my first kind of foray into cinematography. And, the opportunity to help out and be part of a property that I absolutely adore, has been a great experience.
Excellent. Sounds like that you're the one that's going to sort of finish up the film and make it the way it should be, which is awesome as well. Joey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I actually came onto the project last year when Steve first approached me. So a little bit about my backstory. I got out of the military back in 2015. I went to Brookdale Community College to go back to school, and I just happened to take an acting class. I needed an extra elective, and I needed to be full time, so I took acting too. I wasn't really thinking too much of it, and Mr. Douchette over there just happened to stroll into my life, and we did a one act together. Next thing you know, he's like, "Yeah, I got this Star Wars film coming up I'm making," and it's funny because I'm a big movie fan, but for personal reasons, I just never got into the Star Wars universe. Just for whatever reason, it just wasn't my thing. But I was ambitious. I was like, you know what, dude, I'll help you out with it. It sounds like a cool thing. It's a movie. I've never been in a movie. Why not? So next thing you know, I'm casting it, and as you may or may not know, there was a little bit of we had a few issues last year with the project. It was on hiatus for a few months. And then I was actually about to drop out because I didn't know where it was going to be back in like February or March of this year. And Steve and I are good friends, and he was texting me, he told me, I just revamped the script. I'd love you to take a look at it. So I was like, why not? I'll take a look at it. So he emails it to me. And as a movie fan, because the first time I read the original script, it was very Star Warsy. I was into it, but it wasn't. When he sent me this revamped version earlier this year, I remember reading it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a fucking, excuse my language, this is something I can sink my teeth into. This is something, I consider myself, Rob, I'm a casual fan. I've got an eye for like blockbuster. I'm a big comedy guy as well, just like Laura. But I've got an eye for everything. I'm pretty good at knowing like what's trendy and what the common audience can get into. And as soon as I read the revamped version, I was like, this is kick-ass. And not to mention, he wrote my role became a little bit more prominent. I play the role of Jack Morrow, who is the head Imperial Commando, and which is really awesome for me as a veteran. I was a military police, so a lot of Steve kind of gave me creative control because I have my whole squad. It's Echo Squad, and you got to forgive me guys because I'm not the Star Wars fan here, so if I screw up any terminology,
no,
feel free to chew me out.
You got it right. Perfectly fine.
But yeah, so Steve gives me this role. We start having rehearsals, and I just saw all these people coming together for free. Nobody's getting paid. Steve, we provide food and everything. And I was like, wow, this is something powerful. And the first time I saw one of the screen tests with the lightsaber sound special effects, I was like, holy shit, like this is the real thing. Okay, let's go. Where are we going with this? And then I kind of came on. I don't want to say forced myself, but I kind of approached Steve and said, listen, I want to, instead of just being an actor on this and, one of the more prominent roles, I want to come on and like make this thing big because I see opportunity for myself. I see opportunity for Steve, for Laura, for all the actors. I mean, there's over 25 people involved in this, total. I see opportunity for everybody to, whether they want to grow as an actor or producer or, they want to write about it. We have, one kid who runs a fan page. He's got over 1,000 followers in 2 or 3 weeks. And anyway, so what it all comes down to is I watched Steve do this and everyone's doing it for free. And, little side story, it literally inspired me to start my own brand, my own company. And, I'm offering my own internships, all because I saw that, look at all these freaking kids coming together, and I'm 30 years old, so I'm one of the older guys. But I'm like, look at them all coming together for nothing. Like, Steve's not paying them, and they're putting in hours and hours of dedication. We were rehearsing twice a week for 6 hours. I mean, everybody's got full-time jobs, and I saw that and was like, holy shit, they're into it. Let's make this big. So information. So that's kind of my role now, is to make sure that everybody sees this. And, you know, as you know, the teaser will be out this week, the recut teaser, which is going to be badass. We brought on, my cousin's actually a sound mixer, and he's a great composer, and he's a diehard Star Wars fan. And he actually came on, he's writing our score. So, and he just rewrote it for the teaser, which, Laura, I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be freaking awesome. I'm like super stoked for it. And that's my job, Rob, is I'm not a tech guy. I'm not tech savvy. I'm a bit of a personality, I guess, but, you know, I'm a life coach as well. So I get shit done. And, I just want everybody to see this film, because I know Steve's strength is in creating this film and producing it with Laura. And I'm like, you know what? My strength is kind of, you know, I'm a loudmouth. So how can I, you know, maximize the potential of this film? Because it is something special. I know it is. And I've done the research on the fan films, and this one, the way I'm seeing it with the story and all the elements that come together, the actors, and I think it's going to come across as something really special. And, it's my job to make, you know, as many people as I can see that, hopefully over 1 million. So,
you know what, and that's what I love hearing. I started this podcast about a year ago, just because there was nothing being done with fan films. You know, a person will make a fan film, like you said, they can't make money off it. They can't, you know, afford to pay anybody. You know, they can't do any of that sort of stuff, but they do it for the love of making a film, of the content, of the genre, or whatever. But I absolutely love that. And that's one of the things, like, I found is exciting about podcasts too, is because a lot of the time I don't make any money off my podcast. I don't have any sponsors yet. Hopefully I will one day. But
you will, dude. I've been listening. Your stuff's good. You're going in the right direction. Trust me.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We had a little bit of a hiatus in the middle there. I kind of had an issue with my co-host. Not a bad issue, but he had to leave for personal reasons. So,
he had a baby, right?
Yeah. So he's busy taking care of his son.
Awesome.
So I've been lucky enough that I do a second podcast once a month with some guys in Pennsylvania called Movie Cocktail, where we basically discuss an old movie and we make a cocktail around that movie. And they've agreed to help me out, and they're co-hosting with me and stuff like that. But I'm doing all the interviews and all that sort of stuff still, and I'm gonna keep going strong. But I just love the premise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You ever check out Michael Urie's show?
Sorry, Laura, what was that?
No, I was doing the same thing. I was like, Michael Urie has a similar show on the Logo Network that's really fun. They do cocktails and watch old movies and stuff. And
okay.
He's an absolute riot. Yes.
Hey, Robert.
He's a lovely human being, and I've gotten the chance to actually do an interview with him before. Yeah.
Hey, Robert. I don't know if you ever collaborate or anything. I know you do actually. I heard. I don't know the last episode. I think you released it yesterday or 2 days ago. I listened to the first half. But I forget the guy you had on. He was a great person. He was great though. But anyway, what I wanted to say was I'm actually starting up. I ran a podcast last year. It was a WWF wrestling podcast. We did Monday Night Raw reviews. And then I also did a baseball one. I'm a big Yankees fan. But I'm actually restarting one with my whole brand, my whole image. And one of the guys who works on the film, Chris Walega, he came on as an intern for my company, my film production company that I started. And the first thing I wanted to do is revamp the podcast for the same reasons, because you know what, dude, as much as you say, like, you know, it's not for, and it's not for, you know, you see it, how everybody just comes together for nothing. Money's not the ultimate motivator. That's what I've realized as a businessman. And you know what, dude, those sponsors that you talk about, they will come. Like, the better you get at your craft, and trust me, and I hope this doesn't come off as harsh, but I scanned all of your episodes, and dude, you got much, much better. The quality of product, your flow, your delivery, everything was getting better. So you will get all stuff. Keep going. And I would love to personally, I'm starting my own podcast. Our first episode will be out hopefully in like 2 or 3 weeks. And I'd love to have you on because, I mean, not only that, you're a great conversationalist. You're very likable. You know, you've got everything that's there, man. So
well, I appreciate that.
Help you. I'd love to help you because I know you'd also help me. You know, it's
absolutely.
It's a nice little, it's always good to work with others who are aspiring to be, you know, get to a bigger place. So,
and that's one of the things, like, we talk about fan films, how it brings people together. That's the same thing about podcasting. These guys I do the movie cocktail with, and the guy that you'll talk about, his name is Dave. He's one of the guys I do movie cocktail with, but he also has his own podcast called
that's right.
Super Movie Brothers, where they discuss movies and stuff like that. But he's been a big inspiration. But I've met him through podcasting. He wasn't a friend before I started podcasting. We just got talking through Twitter and through Facebook, and same thing. We started getting together to talk, and then we said, well, why don't we do this? And so that's where we moved into. So I appreciate that, and I would love to be on your show. Yeah, absolutely. Man.
I'm not as big of a
you're great, and
like,
as I was.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm not as big as a wrestling fan as I was when I was younger. But
that's okay. I'm done with. I gave up on it. I tried getting back into it for the sentiment. I watched it when The Rock was out and Stone Cold, the Attitude Era, and then it got cheesy. But The Rock came back, so yeah. So I don't do wrestling anymore. My thing is all about not to sidetrack from the movie, but my whole brand is about helping. I literally wrote my mission statement with my PR guy 2 nights ago, and my mission statement is to help everybody, as cheesy as it sounds, help everybody find the hero that's within themselves, so they can go and help others. And
I like that.
I know it's cheesy, but that's what I want to do. I want to show people that, it's all, and the structure of the podcast and everything doesn't have to be so formal and intimidating. Like, I love the style of your podcast, Rob, because they don't sound like interviews. They sound like hangouts. And that's why people are getting away from mainstream media. Nobody watches Fox News anymore unless you're in a waiting room. People are listening to podcasts. I listen to Joe Rogan all the time. He's got over 10 million subscribers. That's more people watch him than watch CNN. So and my point is that can be you. That can be me. That's the ultimate goal. Hopefully, is reach as many young kids and people and my demographic is the youth, and empowering them to believe in themselves and not feel they have to be part of the so-called machine or whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got a voice, and that's the beauty of podcasts. Everybody can speak up.
Yep, no, I totally agree with you on that. So let's get back to the film, because I'll definitely be a guest on your podcast, by the way.
We went on quite a
I know, we can go on. That's why when you said 30 minutes or less, I'm like, with the 4 of us, I don't know. I'm good for like 40 minutes myself.
Well, I have no problem with that.
Two people who are just passionate and motivated. They just, want to talk about it, and you can hear it through their voices. I can hear it through Joe. I can hear it through you, Robert. I mean, that's all I hear. It's because we're very passionate about what we do and what we love.
Yeah, that's why I like get-togethers. Because we're all, I can hear us all like chomping at the bit to talk about something because we're all so friggin' into it, and I love it. I'm gonna hit the mute button now and let you guys talk.
Well, what I wanted to get into is a little bit more about the film itself. Obviously, can you give me some idea of where it was filmed, when, and a little bit of background about what was involved in the filming and stuff like that? A little bit of like behind the curtain sort of thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This film has gone through a couple of different titles. It first started out as Convert or Die. That was the main premise of the Inquisitors, was they want to convert surviving Jedi of the Purge or Force sensitives over to the side of the Empire, serving the Inquisitorius, or that they had to die. So that's where it started as a title. And then we sort of changed it to Inquisition, it was a one-word title, and I kind of liked it at that point. During our first attempt, we were working with a different director at that point and a couple of different people, and we got to the first shooting day. And then what happened was that somebody who was at the time helping me co-produce had some trouble getting a permit that we needed. And the problem was, when I was talking to him over the phone, is that he didn't really tell me fully what was going on. We used to talk every single day, like for a few hours. The same way I kind of talk with Joe and Laura now, is that we talk for a while when we talk about this stuff. And then he told me, he's like, oh no, I didn't get it done. So it kind of went around my back, and we felt a little bit, let down by that. So what I did was I told people, I was like, hey, we're going to take a little bit of a break right now, and we're going to reschedule, revamp things. So, and I told that guy, I was like, we need to let you go. You can't be on this project anymore because you got to explain to these people why it's not happening the way we want it to. So we took a few months off, and I took care of all the legal things and the permit. I did all that myself, and while people were kind of doing their own thing. And when I got the revamp script that I worked on, that Laura helped me on in the later stages, that's when I started sending it to people who were still involved at the time, such as Joe, and Chris Berry, who was our audio guy, is also in the film, and a couple of other people. Then we started, and when we met again in May, and then this is when I changed the name to Venatus, and that's actually a Latin word. The Latin word, it means to chase and hunt down, which is like the big premise of the film. And I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. It sounds like going to be like a Darth Sith Lord type of name, and people are kind of wondering what it means or even how to pronounce it. we've had
That's true.
But when we met together in May, and we met at actually my house, my dining room, and I told everybody, I was like, hey, thanks everybody for staying on. Everybody's really enthusiastic about the project, and we just told we're going full steam ahead. This is a ship that's not stopping until it reaches its destination. And everybody at the table, they would agree to that. Then I talked to a lot of my friends who I went to school with. I have a bachelor's degree from Rowan University, a bachelor's in fine arts in radio, television, film, mainly film and TV production because that's the route I want to go. And the television route I wanted to do was like episodic television. So after that, I called a lot of my personal friends and a lot of them who did camera work. One I got Ken Dwyer, who's an amazing cameraman, is also doing the special effects. And then friend Christian Cordes, and my friend Ronnie Banerjee, who plays one of the characters in the film Val. He contacted a lot of people at Rutgers, and that's how we met people like Chris Wallega. Laura, we've been to Brookdale for a couple of years, same with Joe.
And I got you Ronnie, too, don't forget that.
Yes,
I actually...
we held auditions for the film at Brookdale, and Ronnie was one of the people who came through it. I'm really impressed.
I made Ronnie go because I knew that he would be absolutely perfect for this project. Ronnie actually starred in my very first film, Text Offender, which was a very interesting, very runaway student film that we did a few years ago. That was a fun project. But Ronnie and I have been longtime friends, and I told him, like, you need to go. I made him get out of bed and come show up, and I think he was the last guy to audition that day or something. Yeah,
he was one of the last people to come through, but we actually had him read a couple times, a few different people. We had him read with the guy who was playing the Tosh character, which he was that kind of goofy, go-lucky Spider-Man type character we were talking about before. And then we had him read with this other girl who was playing the Inquisitor named Acheron, because they have, after their duel in the movie, they have a very emotional scene where a lot of, ideologies come clashing at each other, and then the tensions run high, and then ends in a really dramatic way. But so we started doing rehearsals for that. We would rehearse at Brookdale Community College, right in front of the Monmouth Museum. That we do that on every Mondays, and Wednesdays would be up in this big field called Pride Park. It's in my neighborhood. It's in Howell, New Jersey. We would go and rehearse there as well. And in the meantime, while I was going on, I was taking care of props, built all the lightsabers from parts at Home Depot, got a basis for doing DIY stuff, made a lot of modifications, and we made every single type of lightsaber in this film. We have, the singles, we have the curved hilts, we have the double, we have a lightsaber spear, and then we made something people haven't seen before. We're like, oh, let's make a lightsaber nightsticks or tonfa. It's like nobody's ever seen that before, and our head guys got that. And then I spent a lot of time. I worked with another costume designer at the time, Kaylee Gumbrecht, who was helping us. She gave us initial design, and then later on, I helped design a lot of the costumes. I built the commando helmet. I built from scratch out of paintball masks and child Roman gladiator helmets. So spray painted, did a lot of modifications on that. Then we got everybody in costume and rehearsals, and then finally at one point we had a cast. Some people left for different reasons, personal reasons, family, whatnot, or they couldn't do it, and we had replacements, but we had a cast that was better than ever. We started filming in late August at a forest in Jackson, and that we did our first couple of days there, and we did a lot of the kind of like some of what felt like arbitrary stuff, a lot of the running shot scenes, and did some dialogue here and there, nothing too action heavy. And then on the second day, we got to do Joe and I got to do we have a duel where it's kind of like that traitor scene from Force Awakens where Film deals with the electro baton because Jackson's got that electro baton. And then from there, I mean, we just kept on filming there until we were done with that location. Then we moved on to this location in Howell. It's right behind Howell Memorial Middle School. It's this big back lot, this huge retention-based area where we're doing all the big, the big fight sequence. And then we're going to probably go back there to get like a tiny bit of pickups. But and then that's where we're going from there. Right now, we're in post-production phase. We're editing trailers, editing, the cuts of the movie. We have a special effects coming in, and then we're into score, and then we're moving it forward to for a Christmas release. Everything right now, and I think we're in a really, really good spot with everything. And Joe and Chris Berry right now are handling the Instagram and the Facebook, and they're doing an absolutely fantastic job. We were talking to Chris one time we were filming, and I remember Joe mentioned casually, he was like, "Oh, by the way, that the Instagram reached 1,000 followers?" And all of us collectively are kind of looking at him like, what? Like, we're thinking maybe we'd hopefully get a couple hundred, but they post something every day, and Joe is always on there as well. He's always talking to his friends, sharing, and they're doing a fantastic job with it, and that's kind of the place that we're at with it right now.
That's awesome. I mean, I love hearing about the behind the scenes. That's what makes it a little bit more sort of, I guess, personal about a film. Like, I can sit all day and talk about a film that I watched on YouTube, but actually hearing from somebody and what the process went into making it makes it more personal. It makes it more like it was a real thing that took place. It wasn't just something that was on YouTube. And I love hearing about that. And I know other people would love hearing about that as well, especially since, like, I'm New Jersey as well. So you talk about some of these locations like in Howell and Brookdale and stuff like that. My wife actually is a teacher at Howell High School. So I actually know exactly some of those places. Yeah. So I live more to the west. I live in the Hamilton, New Jersey area, but they're definitely, I love hearing about those sort of locations where I know I could basically, within an hour, I could drive to them myself and see some of those locations. So it kind of makes it more real.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the big thing with Kevin Smith being from Middletown, Leonardo, and I was from Middletown, New Jersey, so 5 minutes away, and added in that whole, that's the Quick Stop that's in Clerks. That's 5 minutes from my house. It's a real place, like, and it kind of inspires you a little too. If you're, and that's the ultimate goal, is to hopefully maybe someone who goes to Howell High School who aspires to be, a Star Wars filmmaker or a filmmaker, sees this, hears Steve's story, because that's the goal, and is like, you know what, Steve did it, why can't I do it? Just follow his footprint. So
exactly.
That's what I love about it. It does feel personal. Yeah.
I always like to point out that I always feel like a lot of these fan films, there's a couple of different reasons why people make it. People love it for the love of making a film, especially about something that's in somebody else's sandbox, such as like the Star Wars universe. But then there's also those that make it, and what we've described it as a virtual business card, where they can then put this out there and say, I made this, and give it to people, send it to people. Where do you kind of lie in this making of this film? Is it a bit of both? Is it leaning one towards the other?
Yeah, I would say personally it's a bit of both. Star Wars was one for me growing up. I was a bully kid, and this is where, Joe and we talked about this, like where we find common ground. Like, and I had a few friends, but like a lot of my go-to thing was the movies. And I grew up watching the original trilogy on VHS, if anybody knows what that is anymore. Seems like that's dying. Nobody knows. But I grew up watching it like almost every single day in the summer, and that was a big thing in my life. That, and I used to watch a lot of Disney films growing up and stuff like that. And I was just kind of mesmerized, even when I got older, and looking at space battles from Return of the Jedi. I was like, they did that by model, piece by piece on a green screen, and it looks like some of it better than like some of the CGI stuff that comes out nowadays. So I grew up with a big love of film, and then from there it just kind of expanded. And my thing has always been story before, action and special effects. All that's cool, but for me it's always story and character are at the heart of everything. And then around high school, I kind of decided that it's something that I like very much. I kind of want to be in them. I really love telling stories. And the Star Wars universe for me has always been, I really love the lore of it. I really love that, you know, people sat down and they write like a complete history going all the way back 25,000 years in the past, and people's names and their conflicts, and that universe it feels like just as real as the stuff that happens in ours. So when we decided to do this film, it was a little bit of like, I want to add to that, you know, the mythos, that lore. I want to create something that actually, if you place it into canon, it works out perfectly, so it aligns with the rest of the story. And then also being an actor and then a writer, and then I was telling this a lot of other people too, is like I would really love for this to be something I would put on my demo reel for future auditions, saying like, oh, hey, I was in this film, or hey, I directed this film, and I wanted to extend the opportunity to everyone else. Because more than, you know, just being in things myself, I really enjoy promoting other people. So saying like, I get so much more of a joy out of that, like, hey, this is Laura Vedder was the director of photography on here. Go check out, you know, sort of shots, or Ken Dwyer, or like, oh, Joe was amazing in this film. He did so much research for that fight, and he's really into his character. Go check him out. And he's got this whole company, and I like it when other people, you know, get the recognition that I feel like they deserve, because sometimes there's a lot of unrecognized talent. I mean, I was just going to Brookdale one time and talked to some friends, and I said hi to this one guy, and he has he has a really unique voice, and I was telling him, like, have you ever thought about doing radio? And he's like, no. I was like, you should definitely, because you have this is like Morgan Freeman God level type voice that it's very commanding. You were just saying hi to me, and I was like taken aback by it. So I would say it's a little bit of both. I'd say it's equal parts doing this from a business end, some people more so than others. But also, I just really love, you know, the main part is our love of film and doing this, you know, for fun. And I love Star Wars, and I really want to add to the lore of that. Something that we can go on and watch all the time and feel very proud about it.
No, and I love that. There's so many people that I've spoken to about fan films in general. I just did an interview not too long ago with actually, if you heard my last episode, was on the fan film Nexus Recursion. It was a Blade Runner fan film. I actually got to speak with the actress and the writer and the director of that film. That's going to be the next release of my next podcast. That's probably going to be coming out this week. But they are all in the industry. They make films. She's a producer. She's an actress. He's a writer, director. They're all actually in the industry. So it wasn't so much that they were making this because they wanted to use that as a step to get into the industry. They were doing it because they enjoyed it. They liked that sort of, in their case, it was the Blade Runner universe. And Brandy's done another fan film that was just released this week called Committed. It's about the Joker and Harley Quinn going to marriage counseling. So you should really check that out.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I was listening to that one.
That film is absolutely amazing. And it was doing the circuit where it was doing the film festival circuit through like Geek Fest and stuff like that. That's where you should really try and get your film in there for Geek Fest. We are sponsors of
Yeah, that's something we haven't done too much research into, but that would definitely, yeah.
And we're sponsors of 2018 Fan Film Awards, which is an awards out of California. They're not really huge, but they do a pretty good job. So you should look at entering in that as well if you get it done in time. They're February next year.
Awesome.
I can send you out details for that as well.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, I mean, these people, a lot of the time when they do the film festival sort of thing where they enter just the little ones, it might cost them $25 to enter or something like that. But a lot of time, that's how you get those sort of people to notice, to read it, to look at it, to see what it's all about.
And build your audience.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
because who's to say they don't look at it and say, who directed this? Or who did the photography? Oh, Laura Vedder. How do I contact her? And that's the ultimate thing I think we all have in common is we all love to give and to help each other and others. And there's so many selfless people involved with this project, Rob. That's like, to me, the most inspiring thing. And not to say that, like Steve said, this thing's 2 years in the making. It did hit a lot of bumps. We had a lot of people, who made commitments and then dropped out for whatever reason last second. And, Stephen, I give us all a lot of credit, especially as us, as the people above the line. we kept this thing going. It wasn't easy. We were literally replacing actors 2 days before shoot dates, and then we got rained out, so it was kind of a blessing. But
and also
we
another
had more time.
Another fun fact too. Speaking from my end and stuff, most of the locations, when we went on set and everything, I did a lot of like shot design and notes beforehand. But a lot of locations and stuff I didn't see till the first day we got there and we got to block everyone out. But I kind of enjoy that baptism by fire approach because I feel like it's everybody focused. But even from that, perspective is something interesting to note as well. That, because obviously with everybody doing this on a volunteer basis, we don't get months of rehearsals and sit-downs and stuff like, major feature films do.
Yeah, it was a lot of, each of us have, full-time jobs. I work, close to 40 hours a week for Mondelez International, and other people have full-time jobs. So it's a lot of like as soon as we have that couple hours open, we schedule everybody in and we get it done. So but even like what Joe was saying, with all the little bumps and curves around it, I think we're going out with flying colors right now. It's looking spectacular, and our main goal is always getting the quality, the story quality, the visual quality, audio quality that we want. And I've looking at, we have the teaser coming out, and then we have the newly mixed one coming out very soon. It's for me, it's exceeding expectations. It's getting out better. It's almost like everything is almost very euphoric. It's like a dream. I was out there one day. I don't know if I said to you, Joe. I said to, I think Ronnie or Tom, it's like you're kind of looking around and you're thinking like, am I really doing this right now? Is this real? Because you think about something like you're doing a project like that for so long, it starts becoming like a fantasy, something that's out of reach. So, that makes it all the
laws of attraction. Excellent. Well, I'm going to end with a question that I always try to at least ask everybody I interview, and I'm going to start with you, Stephen. If totally off of this, if you had the chance with a crew, with stars, actors, money, sort of no budget, sort of that you have to worry about, what would be the fan film that you would want to make? Apart from this one, of course.
Wow, that's tough. Let's see. If I want to branch out to something similar than this, if I can get like Viggo Mortensen and Sean Bean or something like that to do, or get like Orlando Bloom to do like a Lord of the Rings fan film, like Rangers of the North, sort of like when they did Born of Hope about Aragorn's dad Arathorn. If I could do something similar like that, that'd be a really fun film to make.
That's pretty cool. All right, Laura, same question. What about you?
Hands down, Jurassic Park.
I love that. Jurassic Park is definitely a fan film that's not sort of touched on.
And I wouldn't go CGI. I would go 1994, Steven Spielberg, practical effects. I was a huge fan of dinosaurs as a child, and I think that would be, if I could do my own film, that would be the most fun fan film to do. That, or maybe even Jaws or something.
I have to get Jeff Goldblum now.
Oh, absolutely. Hands down. I don't know if you guys seen, here's a recent meme that I saw yesterday that they want to remake Sex and the City with Jeff Goldblum playing every character and stuff. And it was really funny. But he could do it. It's totally plausible.
And Joey, what about yourself? What would you like to do? Anything that you would like to star in? Anything like that?
Boogie Nights with Jennifer Aniston. I want to make a porno documentary with like myself and Jennifer Aniston. No, I'm totally kidding. You can't
see the reaction on Stephen and I's face right now.
I know. That's why phone interviews are so awkward, guys. You guys couldn't see my face when I was saying it.
My eyeballs fell out of my head. Oh my God.
But seriously, I'm not a big comic person, but I'm a big Hook fan, Peter Pan, and a huge Robin Williams fan. He's probably my biggest inspiration. But I would always love to do like either a fan film on something, maybe like the Lost Boys, and how they maybe show the darker side and the dark realities of what the Lost Boys had to do to,
get where they were at in Neverland and, establish their positions and become these great warriors that they become. Show like the darker, real side. I think that's where me and Steve clicked, is Game of Thrones, the lore, and there's good and bad in all men. And I think that would be something cool to explore, especially with something in the Peter Pan realm. I think it's very fascinating.
I love that, and if you get a chance, check out one of our earlier episodes as well. It's called Bangarang, and it's actually a guy.
Ooh, okay.
I interviewed he's a director. His name was Jonah Feingold. He did a successful Kickstarter with the guy that actually played what was the lead? No, the guy. I am blanking right now. My apologies.
Rufio?
One of the Lost Boys?
Rufio. Yeah, Rufio.
Yeah.
Yep. No way.
And he made a fan film. I think you can see it on YouTube now. It's called Bangarang, but it was made with and Rufio is actually in it. He actually stars in it. He's not actually Rufio.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, definitely. So check that out. And we did an interview with Jonah right when he was doing his Kickstarter, which he got funded through that as well. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. But that sounds cool.
Okay.
Again, same sort of thing. He's done that. His more was about Rufio and how he became a Lost Boy. But there's so much more about the rest of the Lost Boys. The whole genre of why they're there.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what else is the mermaids? And the mermaids, the Indian, there's a whole little world there in Neverland that is just so fascinating. I love it. Captain Hook is a great villain, ultimate villain. There's so much to work with there. But I'm definitely gonna check that out. Bangarang.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I'm going to end here, and I really appreciate you guys coming on, and we're going to have you on again once the movie is released. How does that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Excellent. We'll try to do something
for you.
Yep.
Where's that lovely accent from?
I am Australian. I'm
New
married
Jersey.
to Jersey.
South Jersey.
No, I'm Australian. I married a Jersey girl, and if you know Jersey girls, of course you all do. They don't like to ever leave, so they don't have to pump their own gas here. So why would they ever want to leave?
Exactly.
So I'm married. I've been married over 13 years now. So I decided to. Thank you. I appreciate that. So okay, last thing I do want to let you know, let you do is I want you to plug away here. Everybody take a moment here. Stephen, we're going to start with you. We've got Stephen, Laura, Joey. Plug everything. Plug anything that you have, anything that you want to plug, Facebook, anything at all. Just go ahead and feel free to do whatever you want right now.
Yeah. Joey, you can take the lead if you want.
Oh, okay, great. So the first thing I would like everybody to do is go ahead and click your little Instagram app, please, and type in Star Wars Venatus, and that's our Instagram page. We try to post daily, guys. We try to keep the content as fresh as possible. We interact with our fans, and we also post a lot of footage and still shots from the film and from the editing room, so you guys can kind of see, with the production, what's going into the production, how much effort's going into it. So that's our Instagram page is Star Wars Venatus, or Venatus. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, you're pronouncing it. It's Venatus. So it's Star Wars, and then Venatus is Venatus. That's in our Facebook page, and then our Instagram they're also both spelled the same.
Yes, and the teaser will be posted there will be a link in the Instagram bio. As soon as the remixed version is, there will be a link for the teaser, which should be released this Friday at the latest. I
just want to interrupt. As soon as that you have that ready, make sure you let me know as well, and I'll post a whole bunch on my social media for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Awesome,
Thank you
man.
very much.
Awesome.
That's
pretty much all. The Facebook thing is, the Facebook page is kind of interactive, but our big thing, Rob, is the Instagram page. And we're also looking into, me and Steve and Laura need to sit down and have a talk about possibly getting a website produced.
Yes.
So, but as of now, the Instagram page is more prominent than the Facebook, and that's where the link to the teaser on YouTube will be posted as well.
Awesome.
Like I said, no later than Friday. So.
Yes, that's correct. One of our actors and also who helped write the initial story, James Wolfe, who plays the Inquisitor Raziel, he works as a web developer professionally, and he's very, very into this film and this project. And I've been talking it out with him about possibly getting up a website so that people can go and watch the trailers up there and see some official production photos and, click on the about section. It's like, oh, I want to learn more about, Joe's character, Jax O'Mara. Click on it, you get like a picture of him, you get a little bit of background story. So right now that's in the works. We're in talks to develop that. We're going to see how that goes.
Nice.
Hey, Rob, real quick, would you mind me plugging because I'm starting up my stuff, and I would love to have people on, and hopefully yourself included, for my future podcast. So hopefully, do you guys want to follow me on Instagram? It's at Coach_Joey Utah. Shoot me a message. Hopefully, we can figure out a way to collaborate, or maybe I can do something to help you. I hope, if nothing else from this interview, everyone understands that we're all in it to help each other for the right reasons. So, and that's all I'm looking to do is help other people, and if that involves bringing them on the podcast, or as Steve and Laura knows, I started a film production company. So if you're an aspiring actor, producer, as long as you got the drive and the commitment, that's the only thing. I repeat a lot to my interns, but as long as you got the drive and the commitment, and you're doing it for the right reasons, like I see everyone here. Education means nothing to me. Formal education, if you're willing to work and learn the right way and work with a lot of cool, passionate people on whatever it is, whether it's one of my YouTube videos or come on the podcast or help me make a movie, I'm willing to work with anybody, Rob. That's what Joey Utah, the Coach Joey Utah is all about. And as of right now, it's all my efforts going into promoting the Star Wars film.
Excellent. And Laura, what about yourself?
But that's it.
Well, my little ongoing baby is the late afternoon show with Laura Vedder, which has been napping for a little while since I've been working a lot on this. But I'm planning a couple episodes in the future. I usually do one big episode a year, and it's a late-night style talk show. My last guests were Ming Chen and Mike Zapsik of AMC's Comic Book Fen. Also huge podcasters and huge Star Wars fans who should absolutely, I always recommend check out their stuff too. And also check out Secret Staff because they are friends of ours in Red Bank, New Jersey, and obviously all part of this fellow geekdom. Otherwise, I got a couple things in development right now I can't talk too much about. But one exciting thing is I will be on Orange is the New Black next season.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Look for me there, yeah.
That's awesome. My wife loves that show. That is awesome. Yeah.
You'll have to look for me creeping around in the background, but I'll be there.
Excellent. And Stephen, did you have anything else that you wanted to plug here?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, currently I'm doing another. I just got into another play at Brookdale Community College. They have what's called Festival. They do a series of one acts that are student directed. So I'm in a student directed play called Don't Think So Hard, where with my co-partner Tess Maxwell, we're playing like a newly married couple who are kind of going back and forth, where she feels that we lost the passion when we were first dating, and then we get into like the semantics of it. So right now, as we're getting post-production, I'm starting to get into back into the play scene again, since so it's giving me something a little bit to do in the background. But that's about it. I mean, right now, and other than that, just like Laura, I have a few projects of my own, some short 5-minute, 2-minute films that I'm developing right now, kicking around ideas. And hopefully, again, since Joe's starting his own production company, I'm going to pass these ideas through him, see what he wants to do with it. Let them take the wheel. But right now, it's a lot of stuff in the works. So.
He's going to be my head writer. He's writing the Peter Pan film for me.
There it is.
And acting and starring in it.
Well, I want
to
be.
edit it again?
Well, I want to be involved in
that. You
that
can bring your
somehow.
dinosaurs in. You can have the dinosaurs come in, Laura. If you can get the CGI on that into Neverland.
No, we're not practical.
We can collaborate Jurassic Park into the Neverland. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just like Muppet puppets. So
Yeah.
T-Rexes.
That's Christian. That's Christian.
Like totally under produced CGI, like the worst edited stuff ever. That's what I'm talking about.
We'll get literal like dinosaur figures from like Toys R Us and stuff.
Like the old Godzilla film.
Well, guys, I want to thank you again for being on with me. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm going to be promoting all of your social media, both in the show notes and obviously on my social media as well. So look for that. I don't know exactly when this is going to come out. There's a little bit of editing that needs to be done. I have an episode that's going to be coming out before this. Like I said, I did an interview, and that's going to be coming out. But hopefully, I'm planning on hopefully having it out pretty soon, and then I'll share it along with the trailer and everything like that as well.
That actually works perfect, Rob, because if me and Steve and Laura need to talk about when the teaser's out, but if it's a few days, I mean, that's when the remix, the real teaser that we really want everyone to see, will be out. So it'll coincide perfectly. So
excellent.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's anything I can do to promote you as well, because on my Instagram or whatever your preferred thing, I'm big on Instagram right now. Whatever you want me to, Facebook as well, and LinkedIn, but whatever you need to do, just let me know or shoot me a message, and I'm here to help. I think we all are.
You can the best way that you can get a hold of me is Facebook Messenger. You can look me up. I believe I was talking on there. I'm always available through text. I work in a call center, so I can't always I can't answer a phone call because I'm answering other people's phone calls. But you can always message me. I would respond as soon as possible, unless something else is going on. Like I said, I do have a family and everything like that, so a lot of time that sort of jumps in ahead of things. But yeah, definitely, I want to keep in close contact with you guys for as long as possible, and help out as much as possible. So I really appreciate you helping out, and I really appreciate you being on.
No,
brother, absolutely.
Yeah, this is fantastic to come on and talk about, the film that we're working on, passionate, and I can, they kind of speak for everybody else. We love talking with people who are just as passionate or not even more as we are, because it just makes, like Joe said, it makes it seem like it's not really like an interview. It's more like just a hangout, just a couple of people coming together just to talk about what they love and want to share with other people. So, absolutely thank you.
No problem. We'll take care, guys, and we'll speak again real soon, okay?
All right, sounds great.
All right, dude. Have a good day.
Thank you again.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
And there you have it. What an amazing group of people. I want to again thank Stephen, Laura, and Johnny for taking the time to talk with me today. Please do make sure that you follow them on social media to stay up to date on the project and to get more information. The information of their social medias will be on our show notes. You can also follow me on the Fan Film Boys podcast on our socials. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/fanfilmboys. Follow us on Twitter at fanfilmboyspod and Instagram at fanfilmboys. And finally, our website is www.fanfilmboys.com. And always remember that is boys with a Z. Please do like and rate us review us on iTunes. That helps us get moved up into more and more people getting to know who we are. And until next time, bye.